my goodness. Well, that was a very interesting way to start the show. I'm so sorry, guys. We're just having technical difficulties. Oh my goodness. Well, that was a very interesting way. Hi, Mel.
Hello.
Looks like I'll be needing to do some editing. The actual screen that we used was on, and I remember I was telling you, because I have to read the chat on my husband's, and I couldn't get it to mute down, and I was like, it's stuck. I played. I'm so sorry, guys. But welcome to Michelle's Opinions. Today we have Amber, and we're going to talk about something that she has actually taken the classes for, and it is in her practice beyond quantum healing and Reiki. And then we're just going to go wherever the conversation goes as it flows. It's been a while since she has been on, and I'm sure a lot has went on within her. And I think she may be offering some services to some lucky people. So, Amber, take it away.
Okay, thanks for coming and watching. Yes, I've just completed the quantum healing course, and so I am now practicing. So what I'm looking for is volunteers who are interested in having a quantum healing session and are willing to give feedback and allow me to track any changes or anything you experience afterwards, because this is a time of learning. And so yes, I am inviting people to come forward. I can't guarantee I'll accept everyone, because a lot of quantum healing is about who you resonate with and following your intuition. So yes, but I'm inviting people to come forward and contact me if they would be interested in a session. My proviso is that it does need to be recorded, video recorded, and I would be grateful if people would allow me to share those sessions either on my YouTube channel or perhaps edited if there's anything you don't want to come to be on public display, or if not, at least amongst other quantum healers for learning and progression.
So you're saying your preference is to record it? I've seen many of them where they actually do record the sessions. So
it's important that it is recorded, and the reason for that is not only for the facilitator, the practitioner, but also for the person having the session. Quite often it's a continuing healing process for them to re-watch it back. So it is quite important for the participants to have a copy of the video for their own use afterwards. Yes.
So can you tell us a little more about, now I know it was about a year ago where you and I talked about this, and we knew that this was a gift that was already stirring up within you. But since you went through and you've taken the classes and been now you're a certified practitioner. So what kind of things did they have you go through, and what was that calling that you felt within yourself to lead you into the direction of healing and putting this into practice?
There are so many different things that have happened that have led me down this path, and so some of the ones I can think of off the top of my head is, obviously at first it's the awakening process, and then it's your own self-healing, your own self-cleansing, and then it was a process of discovering that I seem to have a talent for leading people into deep meditation with my voice. And then it was many different synchronicities that occurred that all came together to lead me down the quantum healing path, such as the trip to London and meeting Candace, There were so many synchronicities about that trip. It was
And
off the
for those who don't know, who is Candace?
Candace Core Goldman. She's the one who created and runs the Beyond Quantum Healing. And meeting her, resonating with her, having the experiences I had while I was in London, in her mini meditations, and then simply having the opportunity to actually do the course. There was just so many synchronicities, and when you start following your, as you know, Michelle, when you start following your intuition, things become very smooth. Things just happen for you without you really trying. Hold on one second. My mum says that's turn off. There you go. And that's a sign. That's a sign that this is the right path for you. And the course itself was an online course. And there was a lot of information to assimilate. There is a lot of information to assimilate. And depending on your own current modalities and experience in this kind of thing, that will vary, of course, from person to person. And but then it is very intuitive. There's no rules. There's no you have to do this way. You have to do it that way. It is the difference between beyond quantum healing and quantum healing is that beyond quantum healing has no rules or limitations. So it's simply they give you the information you need in order to start your practice, and then you develop it as you want to, which leaves it very wide open in terms of progression and integrating other modalities into it.
And what does it consist of when somebody's getting a session? What does it? Is it more like a hypnotherapy, or is it like energetic work? Like I'm sure a lot of us have seen Everyday Masters Case. He's filmed a few of his, he calls them reconnection, and he runs his hands over, and it just activates people. So how does it how does it work? Is it more of a hypnosis or energetic, or a little bit of both, or?
That will very much depend on the practitioner you go to. At a basic core level, at a very basic level, quantum healing is a hybrid, if you like, between guided meditation using some hypnosis techniques in order to guide people into a deeper level of meditation than they might otherwise be able to achieve on their own. And again, that very much depends on the person having the session and their own experience and how relaxed they are. What you should expect is some kind of interview with the practitioner you go to begin with, if they don't already know you well. Some information explaining what quantum healing is, what that practitioner is offering, as well as some practitioners would give you some links in case you don't have much meditation experience, for you to practice being able to meditate beforehand. That is quite important, that you do have some experience in meditation beforehand.
To quiet your mind?
Yes, exactly. And then as to what's involved within the session, again, that's going to vary wildly with beyond quantum healing, because it would depend purely on the practitioner. Some call them facilitators, in what modalities they're integrating into it. So if somebody's, if you go to somebody in person and they're already an energy healer of some kind, I expect you can expect, if you need it, them to offer some healing during the session. But that doesn't necessarily need to be one-on-one or in physical proximity. You can be at different sides of the planet. Energy healing work doesn't require physical proximity.
Interesting. And we're finding that more and more. It's like there's no space between us. There's no time. I mean, it's just it's a simultaneous thing. It's always a now time. and that is amazing. Do you have any anything you want to share from an experience that you watched through the sessions on, you know, somebody going through the process, and what kind of awesome things were shown on that? And
Well, I've done a few sessions now, and in those sessions, I've facilitated people experiencing past lives as humans as well as energy beings. I've facilitated people achieving a state of being part of the collective consciousness. I've experienced people visiting moments in this current life, in the past, as a healing. And I've experienced healing during the session. And the beauty of that is that it's not just a healing for the participant necessarily, it can be healing for both the practitioner as well as the participant. I believe that people are drawn together for a reason. You resonate for a reason. Within Beyond Quantum Healing, I think it likely that those who come or resonate or are guided to a particular practitioner, well, there's a reason they feel they need to go to that practitioner. And often it may be the case that both of you require a similar kind of healing, or something in the session will be significant for both of you.
wow. How does this tie into Reiki? Because I know you do both, so and you're looking into, you know, both different. They're both energetic healing mobilities, you know what I mean. Yes, but is there a big difference between the two? And if so, what are the differences, or what are the similarities?
I think they are different, but they can work together in tandem really well. So Beyond Quantum Healing is not necessarily energy healing. It's what the practitioner does is guide the participant in their journey. So they're there just to try to help them get deep enough into that brainwave state where they can go on their journey, and then to help facilitate and guide them through it to get to the aspects of it that are significant to them. Hence the pre-session interview, to find out what someone's objectives is, what they want to find out. And healing's not always going to be involved, but if the practitioner is able to help with healing, then I can only see that as a bonus. The reason that I am learning Reiki in order to integrate into this is because this is energy work, because there is an energetic connection during the session between the practitioner and the participant. And it is important for the practitioner, I believe, to have some knowledge and ability to manipulate and control that energetic connection, as well as their own energy, for their own well-being, as well as that for the participant. And if the practitioner is more experienced in using energy in the various ways it can be used, that's only going to help the participants obtain their objectives during the session. For example, the intention of the session. So if the practitioner has more experience and knowledge on how to handle intention or how to use it effectively, then they can set the intention for the session beforehand, perhaps more effectively. I'm not sure, but I think understanding energy, or at least what we do know about energy and how it works, and being able to follow your own intuition and the guidance from our guides respectively, is going to be, I think, a significant benefit to a session.
I was just explaining to people in the chat room that the tablet's just not keeping up I was like, there's nobody even chatting in there, and I just updated it, and there was a bunch of people chatting in there, and I'm sorry, you guys. This will be fixed very, very soon. I'm getting a small laptop, so I will be able to see the chat pretty quick. So that's coming. My husband's already taken care of that for me. So he's so sweet to make sure that because they're the tablets just can't keep up with the RIM, and it's trying. It's like I think I can, but then it just can't. It keeps doing its thing. So okay. So Reiki is more on the healing side, and Beyond Quantum is more on like the energetic and a clearing, and why would you have such things going on so you can remove that completely. It's more that's what I see.
Yeah, for the participant, for them to experience whatever their higher selves, or whatever label you want to apply to that, needs them to experience at that moment in time in their lifetime, for general healing, not necessarily physical healing, emotional healing, psychological healing, spiritual healing. Yeah.
And you guys, in the show more notes, the description box is her contact information for her channels. If she's willing, I'll put her email address in there also, so you can contact her, because I do see that there are some people that are, raising their hand, wanting to be one of those lucky participants to have such a wonderful thing, done on them. Because, when we look into the costs of some of these things that people provide, it could be pretty expensive, but then again, it's pretty expensive on the practitioner. So any time that somebody is offering such a gift, it's like a blessing. It's just like, yeah, my hands up, of course. Who wouldn't? So okay, so we've talked about the quantum healing. We talked about Reiki. What else has been going on with you? Feeling any shift symptoms or energetic anomalies going on? Anything else? Any other paths your heart is taking you on besides? Because we know that you go after the passion. That
Yeah.
but you're diversified. There's many other things going on at the same time.
Yeah, there is. But in terms of shifts, not really. I've not been paying attention to the shifts for a while. I've noticed things happening, but to be honest, it's no longer something I pay much attention to. Energetically, for me, it's been very stable for quite a while now, with the exception, I think, of last week. And I did a quantum healing session, beyond quantum healing session, and with a friend, and we both mirrored symptoms for about 3 days afterwards.
Ooh, connected.
Yeah, that physically as well as emotionally, and that was very interesting, and a learning experience for us both. And but that probably would have had to have happened anyway. We're not, our higher selves tend to be more in control than we are. So despite the fact that I made every effort to ensure we were delinked afterwards, it was like, it seemed like my higher self was like, no.
Not quite done yet.
Override. So that's okay.
Do you think there's a possibility that people that will feel the shift symptoms is because they're actually shifting up, but since you could possibly already be there, so therefore the symptoms don't come about, so they're not sticking out to you as much as they used to?
Yeah, it could very well be that. I mean, we just don't know enough, do we? It could be that people are simply changing. I did think at one point, and I don't not think this now, that it's to do with if somebody, if all these different realities exist in different frequency levels or frequency bands, like radio stations, and you jump or move, don't necessarily mean you're going higher. You could be going laterally or downwards, or any of us know. But if you move, say, more than one station, it could be that the change in energy of the reality you're then in compared to your baseline frequency is too different. And it takes time for your frequency, your body to adjust, which is why where you get the fatigue and the other symptoms. Basically, it reminds me of when the scientists have taken somebody and put them in some sort of chamber to isolate them away from the Schumann resonance. And they've noticed that every time they did that, the subject got very ill. The longer they were in a different resonance, the sicker they got. When they were back into their Schumann resonance, everything calmed down. So this variability in resonance between the Earth's resonance where you are and your own does cause fatigue and other symptoms that we collectively associate with shifting. Doesn't necessarily mean we're shifting anywhere else. So I'm not sure about that. All we really know is our reality is changing. Whether it's just one reality that's changing, or whether we're hopping like musical realities. I don't know.
The music's playing. You guys get up and walk around, and then sit down wherever you end up. It almost feels like that, though. I mean, you wake up one day and you're like, no, I'm going back to bed because I just don't like this one. This one don't have a good feel. Then you wake up a little later and you're like, okay, I'm good here, you know? I've had several of those days pop up. Let's talk a little bit about some other places that you are going to be interviewed and popping up back on, because you haven't really been very active, obviously, with your education and stuff, but you have accepted a few interview, you know, people ask you for an interview and you have accepted a few. Where is another place where you're going to be popping on pretty quick and doing an interview?
Well, Dark Horse Den has invited me on. I was supposed to go on his show a while back, but then things just happened. We didn't end up doing it. He was busy, I was busy. But he said he's doing more, will be doing more video content now, so he's invited me on. And that's the only one, apart from yours, so far. You know, I'm not one to go out seeking interviews. If someone asks me to come on, then I'll come on if I've got time.
That's not the problem.
I'm out there.
It's her time.
I don't know. It's like yourself, we're friends, but you know, I don't spend a lot of time on YouTube. I don't watch things. I don't really engage in a chat. I'm on Discord almost all the time. So when I'm not on Discord, I'm
busy.
Doing yeah, basically. And I like Discord because I can just put my headset in. I can listen to people. I can get on with the housework or whatever I'm doing, whatever course I'm doing. I don't need to be watching a screen and typing. That's why I like the voice on Discord, and I like engaging that way because I've got a lot to do. I can't sit in front of a computer for hours typing.
Well, yeah. And you know, it's a different flavor because you can be going out and doing your business or whatever you're doing. I'm sure you're not on Discord when you're doing your healing sessions, though.
No.
Okay, I was like,
yes,
that may take a little more attention because I know you're a really good multitasker, but yeah.
That's not actually true because I have done healing sessions in Discord.
Well, doing them for someone on Discord Discord, I get that, but I mean, like, you're not chatting away in Discord while you got, you know, maybe somebody on your couch or no, it doesn't quite work that way. So, you had also this amazing anomaly happen to you. You have Guru. Do you want to tell everybody a little bit about who Guru is and how the little guy came about?
Yes, okay. I keep crested geckos, and if I was never been officially proven to occur in in that species. Many keepers will tell you it does through their own experiences, that they can reproduce what's called by parthenogenesis, and it's where the female can produce a fertilized egg without a male being involved in the process at all. And usually,
Virgin birth.
yes, basically, usually the eggs never hatch. They don't develop very far. They die in the egg. I've heard, I mean, I've been keeping crested geckos now 13 years, and I've heard of 2 cases where they actually hatched on the online forums, etc. As far as I'm aware, both of them, I know definitely one, and I'm pretty sure the other one did too. They usually die before they get to 12 months because they've usually got some form of deformity, etc. But Guru, I've never had one hatch. I've had eggs. I've never had one hatch. I was watching one of your videos one night. I think it was about gurus of some form, and I was listening to it while I was tending to the geckos. And as I was spraying this one female, a little baby jumped out of her bib. Now I know she's never been with a male because I've had her since she was a tiny hatchling, and I was just completely shocked. I was just stood there looking at this little baby going, oh my God, a baby! Oh my God, a baby! What do I do? Got nothing prepared. And I spoke to you afterwards and you said, oh, you're going to have to call it Guru, which I have. Guru's now, I think he hatched in, I don't know if it's he, I'm just calling it he. I think he hatched in April or May.
I think April 13th was the post. I think you were watching it on April 14th. We went through this a couple times just to make sure we get his birthday right.
And
they normally don't make it. It's not a normal thing for him to, you know, and what has it been now? April,
May, June, July, August, September, or nearly 6 months.
6 months old.
May, he's still alive. And I mean, whether he'll last another 6 months, I don't know. He's not growing as well as I would hope he would, put it that way. However, that is by far unusual. Is that, I don't know if I said that right. It's, crested geckos to remain small for an extended period of time is not unusual at all.
But he's unusual. Everything about that whole situation is very unusual.
Because that was it. I was only thinking about it because I haven't had any babies for years, and it was only about a week before the thought just popped into my head, oh, wouldn't it be nice to have a baby? And then within a week, one just manifested in my reality. So I got a baby. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's
the ones that we, you know, if you're sitting there and focusing on it, those are the ones that kind of they elude us. But you had a thought, and then bam, it came to fruition.
Cool. So whether that was manifestation or precognition, I don't know. I'm not even sure what the difference is between the two, to be honest with you. I think it might be just different forms of the same thing.
Just like having dreams where you see things in the future. Is that precognition or is that prophetic? I mean, you know, we don't know. I mean, is it manifestation or is it warning, or, you know, is it just, yeah, I get it. But other things, other anomalies like that have happened to you too.
I've been having quite a lot of success with healing on my animals. I had an ongoing issue with one of my cats, with her eyes, and which has forced me into trying to do energy healing with her. And every time I've done it, I mean, I've had some really vivid experiences of meditation with healing her, and but also using Reiki to heal. And each time it's had a profound effect. Turns out it's an allergy. The vet was saying it was an infection. It wasn't. I've gone to a different vet, and turns out it's an allergy. And I think it's an allergy to white sage. So I'm not burning white sage anymore until I know for sure.
But they said it was what, conjunctivitis or something like that. We were trying to medicate her.
in the eyes. And this started on both my cats in different ways about the same time. And the only thing I introduced that could have formed some kind of new aerosol at that time is the smudge sticks. And so I'm pretty sure it's the white sage that's causing the irritation for both of them. And yeah, that's gone. So as soon as I realised that, it was gone out of the house. And she's getting better. But I mean, I felt awful about it, but trying to figure out what's going on. But in a way, I see that it's forced me to get more interested in energy healing, and now to want to actually be trained, be guided by a mentor, because it's forced me into the position where I've needed to try, and I've seen how effective it is each time.
Little subtle nudges that the universe gives.
Yeah, exactly. And with her, it's just so synchronistic. She went missing, this particular cat, in the end of 2013 for a month, and that actually began my awakening, because I had a really amazing spiritual experience, what you would call a Holy Spirit baptism, I think. Mm-hmm. The night before I got her back, and that changed my life forever. It changed me completely. But the night she went missing, I knew she'd gone or something had happened to her, because at 4 a.m. I awoke from, it was like I was in a dream, and suddenly the dream was interrupted, and I saw myself in my living room, and she was sat on the floor looking at me, and it was such a shock, because I'm always aware I'm dreaming, but this wasn't a dream. I saw her and I was like, what's going on? She had something wrong with the left side of her face. Her eye was a bit droopy, it looked a bit puffy, and I just knew something had happened, and I woke up straight away, and I knew then she wasn't coming home. And I didn't know whether she'd been hit by a car or what had happened to her, but I got her back a month later. There was no sign of any injury or problem with her face at all. Well, 5 years later, now, that's exactly what she looks like now. So I've been wondering recently, why is it that she came back to me from now to appear to me then to let me know she'd gone missing? Why didn't she appear to me as she was then? So there's something significant about this time now. And with this whole process of trying to work out what was wrong with her, I've been trying to find a homeopathic vet, and I can't find one anywhere near me. But I eventually discovered that there was a holistic vet who is okay with homeopathy, because the laws over here are quite different than over in the States. So when I rang them up and found out who he was, I realized that the month that she was away, she was in one street, and she spent a lot of time in one garden, and that garden was his garden, that vet's garden. So it all clicked into place that this was right. This was where I needed to take her, this particular vet, because that was the garden she spent the most time in when she was there, or was very significant. And he appeared to me as she is now back then. So I really strongly felt that that was the right one, and it was, because it was a good call, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is, just amazing how we do get those nudges that will point us in the right direction, if we're following our intuition, which is a good lesson to know that if you follow your intuition, your gut feelings that you have on situations or how they present. That's when I get in the most trouble, is when I try to fight them. I try to fight what my intuition's trying to tell me, and it comes back to bite me in the butt every time. Every time. Every time
you're like, oh, I knew I should have listened to that. I mean, she's quite awake as well, my cat, because she can see energy and entities. I mean, I've been inside her body before, looking out through her eyes, quite a few times. And we have a very strong bond. I call her in telepathically, and she responds every time. That's how but all through that month, I was a mess. And I really, now looking back, I realised I was experiencing her emotions for that entire month. It was awful. But
cats have emotions?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Like
Yeah,
strong emotions like we do, or are they, how are they different? Now you got, you know, curiosity killed the cat. I must know.
I think they're the same. They have all the same emotions we do. They definitely have, in my opinion, they definitely experience all the negative ones, the what we consider negative ones, fear, anger, all of those, um, as well as into the more positive ones, you know, happiness, joy, and love. Um, you know, feeling emotion is what emotions you feel is under your conscious control. It's a choice. And I just think humans have forgotten that. We tend to be raised thinking that the emotions we feel are an onslaught from outside of us and we have no control. And that's completely incorrect. We have full control. We just don't, I don't think, realize it. We're not
Right.
talking about it. But
But
yeah, cats do definitely have all the emotions and they can be traumatized. I mean, since then she's had separation anxiety,
oh,
really bad. She was very, very traumatized when she got back. She was really bad. She's a lot better now, but she's not the same cat for sure. She was very, very traumatized. Yeah.
is she very, very like clingy to you now? Like if you walk out the door, she goes into stress mode, and then
Yes.
until you come back. I mean, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she is. I mean, she will go a little out of my sight now, you know, except when she's been to the vets and every 24 hours, you know, she needs to see me all the time. But when she got back, when I got her back, it was she would howl. I have never heard her make such a sound before or since the first night I got her back. She howled like it was just the most horrific, awful sound I've ever heard. If she couldn't see me, literally, she had to be able to see me. She opened her eyes, she had to be able to see me. And then about the next day, it got to the point where as long as she could hear me, or I would come when she called. And then it got to the point as long as she could hear me, but when she was awake, that was when she was asleep because she would keep waking up. She wouldn't sleep very long. It was like she was having nightmares. But then
Hmm.
during the day when she was awake, or when she was awake, it was fine as long as she could see me. She knew I was in the home. And but now when I go out, whenever I come home, she's inside waiting for me. You know, she's not happy if I'm not around, basically. And if I'm away too long, then yeah, I see the difference.
You had something amazing. Oh my gosh, where's the feedback coming from? Do you hear it? You don't hear
No.
the feedback? Okay. I wonder, do you remember when you had the flower on top of your tree? Do you remember when that happened? Can you tell everybody a little bit about that while I get my technical issues worked out over here?
Sure. That was 2017. The summer 2017. I've got some. I'm not on. Don't ask me what the species of trees are called because I did find out, but I just don't remember. But they're just trees. They're not evergreen. They're deciduous. And out of my kitchen window, there's like a wood, and it's on a hill compared to here, so I can see the tree line at the top of these trees. And it was in the summer. They were in full leaf, and one of them produced just one bright pink flower right at the top of the tree. So you're talking trees that are as tall as a house. And I remember I just kept staring at it day after day and thinking, I've never seen a tree produce a pink flower. I mean, apple trees, yes, fruit trees, but not non-fruiting deciduous trees. I think I'm sure it's not supposed to produce a flower. And it's not done it since. I mean, I can't remember how long the flower was there, but and one day it was just gone, and it didn't produce it again this year. So
But it's
uh,
not a tree that has flowers.
no,
Uh-uh. It was just for
no.
you. It was like, here, I want to show you something, you know?
I was thinking, is it? You know, what am I seeing? Is it a balloon or a
Something get
kite?
captured up there?
You know, No, it's a flower. It's just bizarre, really bizarre.
Yeah,
But yeah,
we're always trying to put logic behind the
yeah,
illogical. And then the
yeah,
Mandela effect happened, and we're like, huh? Wait.
exactly. Yeah, I've seen plants move in the garden, and I've gone out after some really vivid meditations, and all the colors are just so bright, just amazingly bright. And I went out and looking out once, and the grass had purples in it, and all sorts of colors. I've seen the sky freeze and then start moving like it's a painting. I've gone out, and it's like the world's just stopped. There's no sound. There's no. It's most eerie experience. I've gone out and a clear night, and there's not been a single star in the sky. All sorts. Um, yeah, very, very, very strange. I mean, one thing I am really getting more interested in now is crystals, because most of my life, I mean, crystals are pretty. I like them. But they're just, to me, stones. I know it's always been believed they do certain things to you, etc. I've never really paid much
Well,
heed to that because I've never felt anything.
mankind
But
has always loved precious gems. I mean, why do
yeah,
we get diamond rings and, and even like gold necklaces, and you know what I'm saying? So when people are talking about crystals, and it's like the same attraction. You know what I'm saying? They do something for us. I've actually heard that if you have there's like little flecks of gold in your diet, that it actually improves your health substantially. I didn't
one
mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted to because some people are just, oh, crystals, oh, no, because I guarantee you've got a gold ring on your finger, or a gold chain, or you've bought in your wife jewelry, or you've bought in your husband. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, just I'm a delabeler. Just
yeah, yeah.
no labelers.
I
Okay,
think
I go on with your crystal story. Sorry.
that's okay. I think it depends on whether people can feel it, because I've never been able to feel it before until I started to feel something probably a year ago. But recently it's got stronger and stronger and stronger ever since. And I mean, what happened a couple of days ago, I was in our local city centre, and a friend rang, invited me to a meal. It was her eldest child's birthday. And I thankfully accepted, and I had about an hour before the meal, and I thought, what am I going to buy as a gift? I have to bring a gift. So I walked into, I know the child was interested in energy and things like this. So I walked into a crystal shop. But before I went into the crystal shop, let me start. I asked for guidance in finding the exact crystal for them, this child, and I entered the crystal shop. I mean, it's just, it amazes me to even say this, but I walked in and I felt a heat coming from one side of the shop. So I went over there. And then there was a shelf with baskets with lots of different crystals in. I was like, I have no idea which one to choose. So I just asked again for guidance, ran my hand over, and where it was hotter than the rest, that was the basket. And there was two types of crystals in this basket. So then I hold in different types of crystals, and I determined one that was the hottest. That's the one I bought. But then I lost my confidence a bit. I wanted to buy some crystals as well. So I was then drawn to several others. And then I paid for them, and I thought, well, what if I got it wrong? What if it was one of the other crystals, not the first one that was destined for this child? So I asked the lady to wrap them up without any identifiers on them, mix them all up. And when we got to the meal, I put them out as 5 packages. I put them out on the table in front of the child, and explained, you need to choose which one is for you. So he did exactly the same thing, ran his hand over the packages and picked the one that resonated for him. And it was exactly the one I'd gone to first. So I chose them first for him. So that was a massive validation. And these other crystals I bought that day, they do have such a profound effect. You could feel it physically. I mean, these two were just rocks that were in a lucky dip. And yet I was holding these for about an hour before this show, because when you hold these two, you feel it's almost like it's increasing your circulation and you feel the changes in your energy as physical sensations over your body as to where it's having an effect and what kind of effect. And there are other ones like this one, it hasn't been doing anything tonight, but the night I got it, when I held it, it was doing something to my throat chakra. It was clear, it was pulling and clearing it. And all of these, the friends who the meal I went to, the couple who are my friends, they're both sensitive to energies as well, and far more experienced than I am. And I was asking them to us together to assess the crystals and see if we could agree on what they did, and we did. We all felt the same things, almost all of us. For everyone, some would feel something and everyone wouldn't, but at the basic level, we all agreed on what each one did. And it's incredible now that I can feel so effectively the energy of crystals. So I completely understand it now, why we have this fascination with crystals.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone should be able to feel this. I think if you don't, then perhaps you've got some energy balancing or rebalancing to do.
I mean, we look back in history and stuff, and just think about, you know, kings and queens with those crowns, with all those stones and crystals and gems and everything encrusted in it. It's something that is, you know, it's kind of gotten lost in the translation. That's actually beautiful. And it's almost hypocritical to say, you know, I will propose to you with a diamond ring, but I'm not going to touch a crystal. A diamond is a crystal. It's just a different form of the rock. They're all rocks.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is energy. So,
Yes.
you know, we should be able to feel this. We've just forgotten, as you said, and we're not raised with this knowledge. So it sounds odd to us. And you can close down and these are natural abilities. They're not supernatural, they're natural abilities. You know, in a way, you could say it's supernatural not to have them because you're denying. It's like saying, I do not have a right arm. I don't have it. It's not there. Um, you know, you can say that all you want, but it's odd if you don't use one of your limbs because you believe it's not there when it clearly is. And I think that's the same with abilities like this.
And that's probably why you didn't need your throat chakra, because you're doing just fine.
Thank you. It's actually been cleared. I did have a problem with it. I've had a problem with it for over a year, and several different people who don't know each other, who work or experience with energy, have all said exactly the same thing. I had a blockage in my throat chakra, and recently, thankfully, it was cleared for me by the person who's teaching me Reiki, and so yes, it has been cleared. And I think the other night I was holding that, it was the last remnant of it, because I'm not feeling anything now tonight. So yeah, but yeah. Apparently I've been told it's very common in those who are energy workers to have a blockage in their throat chakra for some reason. Really common.
Interesting. Interesting. You know, and you, like you said earlier, you know, Christ brought me through, but been set free of religion, and I had no idea how much bondage I was actually in until I got set free from that. And now it's like I look around with just wonder and curiosity, and want to expand on different cultures and different ways that they, you know, do things, and the beauty and all of that. And I have noticed, and I'm sure a lot of people have noticed, that the people that are waking up or becoming more self-aware, or, you know, not denying body parts, which was a very good way of putting that, not denying the variabilities and gifts that you're born with, that God-given abilities that you're born with. They seem to be very creative, expressive, artistic almost. I mean, they may not paint, or, you know, but they will express themselves artistically in one way or another. They'll create something, or do, you know, it could be something as cooking. They may be a chef. It's just they have like enhanced three-dimensional abilities that they excel in. Also, you know, it's just very interesting. But I have noticed a lot of them are into artwork, artists, and just it's amazing. Even jewelry making, and healing other people. That's an art. So yeah. Oh my gosh.
I used to be when I was
It's
young.
already almost been an hour. we just we just been chatting away. I think we started late though, right?
Yeah, we did. We started quite late.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we probably got about we'll get about another 5 minutes or so. Yeah. I think we. I can't
All right.
remember what time we were supposed to start at 3:30, but we were having technical problems. And then when I started, I still had technical problems. Those are coming to an end soon, guys. I promise you. I promise. It's going to be much, much easier very, very soon. Most of it's a learning curve, but the rest of it I'm trying to juggle because I really want to be able to see and engage with the chat when we have interviews. But now, if you guys have questions for Amber, I will look at the chat. And
Yeah.
so that way we can get those addressed in these last few minutes. And how is it that you wanted them to contact you for if they are interested in being one of the lucky few?
Well, there's 4 different ways. There's you can contact me via my YouTube channels because if you go to the About page on both of them, they'll be in the show description. There's my email address. It's so you can contact me on either of those email addresses. I think there might be 2 different ones, or they might be the same. I can't recall. Michelle's going to put my email address into the show description after the show, and I'll also post an invite link to the server where I spend most of my time on Discord. So you can contact me then. My name there is Amber, or Amber72.
Yeah, no, I don't have her email in the show more notes. The one that's in, somebody just asked. The one in the show more notes is my email address.
Right, yeah. You're going to put it in after the show, aren't you?
Yes.
And I'll put a link now in the chat to Discord. You do have to either access Discord via the website or download an app, but it's absolutely free. It's just a free communication server. It was designed for gamers, and it comes up something for gamers, but yeah, there are servers on there, places where gamers go, but this one isn't one like that. It's an invite to the Flame server, which is people, basically energy workers or people who are awakening or into Mandela effect, anything like that. Anybody's welcome, to be honest, but I'll just put it in there now. There you go. So you can join Discord, you can meet lots of other people, YouTube creators. Michelle's there, Dark Wolf's there, and I'm
Magi,
there.
he's a content creator.
Yep. Yes, Magi's there. There's lots of different YouTube creators that pop in and out, and you're all welcome to come in and say hello and get to know us.
Okay, so that's one. We're gonna add your email, and it will be where I put her links. Then I will add her email address down there, so they can contact you through Flame. They can contact you through either of those YouTube or your email.
Yes.
And then set up like a consultation where you'll do a Google Hangout or something to go through the interview process part of it. Gotcha. And do you know about how many people you will be selecting for this wonderful gift?
I haven't got a figure because it will do. I will follow my intuition. If I think that somebody contacts me and for whatever reason I get the feeling I'm not the right practitioner for them, then I can help them find other learning practitioners who are offering free sessions. So I'm not going to put a figure on it. I'm not going to do a whole load. This is the other thing. These sessions are very draining for the practitioner as well. So I plan probably to do 1 a week, and that's it, because you know it is quite draining work. It's surprisingly so. And I do other things like guided meditations in Flame, etc. as well, which again is draining. Tarot readings, I do those in Flame. So yeah, I'm not going to put a figure on it. So just contact me if you want, and You know, if I say yes, then I'll create a list and get you one by one, basically. That's what I would do.
That's amazing. You guys look for her on Dark Wolf's Den. She'll be coming on there and doing an interview. Also, look for Dark Wolf's Den coming on here because we're going to do the big reveal on this investigation that we've been doing, or that I've been doing for months. We've got some really good, clear answers that should really help people understand. You know, just like with everything in life, it's a game. So just realize we needed to learn how to play it. Um,
Yeah.
Also, it looks like Tony will be coming on. Tony Taylor, T. Taylor, you guys may know her as, will be on tomorrow. And we will be talking about the sparkling skin anomaly, the things that are coming out of her skin, or the things that are changing within her body, and the awakening process that she's been through. Like many of us, we go through for a very long time quietly because we don't quite understand what's going on, and I'm talking some of us decades before anybody even speaks up. And then when we finally, do speak up, we're still growing daily, but she's been going through this for a very, very long time, and so she's got a lot of really good information. It is nothing to be afraid of. It's just a part of it, and like I always say, we share what we know so we can listen and grow. And I've got one person that says, and I'm thinking this is directed to you, that pray that I am chosen.
It's not a case of choosing as such. It's our higher selves are in charge. But yes, please email me.
Mom, Mom loves Hillary. Mom loves Hillary. We just pray that they want to be prayed that they are chosen. I think that's really sweet. Thank you guys. Thank you for coming by and spending the time with us. I appreciate you all. It's gonna get a little wonky here for a second, and then we'll let you guys all go.
Yeah, I'm just going to put my email in the chat as well. So
Oh yeah, you could do that while the because we got the exit to go out, so you got some time there. Okay. Stay on the line for a few minutes. You can mute out right now for a few seconds, and I'll be right back. Sorry for the wonkiness, guys. Ill prepared. Ill prepared. Fire me.